So today we're going to be talking about workplace infidelity. Woo! Woo! Shake it off. Shake it off. You got this. You got this. This is Lovely with LoveliEsteem, and we're talking about infidelity at the workplace because it is also one of those topics that will completely affect your mental health. If you find out about a work husband or work wife, sometimes we all kind of laugh and joke about it, right? Because you're like, oh, Laura's the work wife and she's funny. It's fine. Because if we're at work and we're doing work things and nothing else shady is happening, I think most people are like, oh, it's whatever. But when we start to blur the lines, we start to hang out after work, we get in drinks together, we are communicating with each other on a consistent basis, we are filling each other up at work, we are having sex with each other, we completely like violate the code of ethics when it comes to people who may be married or in relationships. And we want to talk about how that affects the co-workers, your staff, how it affects the organization, and sometimes how when you try to call in your human resource department or you try to figure out as a person how to not be included in something like this. Because I will tell you this, if I have to sit in front of a person's spouse when I know that they've done, their partner or my coworker has done something crazy, I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm a liar. Okay. And I went out. I went out. I'm like, oh my God. I'm going to go clean the toilet. I'm like, it's the Christmas party. We don't need you to clean the toilet. I'm going to change the toilet paper. I'm going to go count the sheets to see if it's really 1,000. That's what I'm going to do. But what happens is that the people who find out about the infidelity in the workplace, you kind of either you turn a blind eye to it because you're like, I'm not going to be a part of this shit. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. Or on the flip side, it's like a gossip train, right? And you're just waiting for this shit. You're just watching this accident unfold. But are you really prepared for what happens to staff and coworkers and how you lose trust and how it rocks the foundation of the workplace? Because infidelity is hard by itself, right? All by its fucking self. But when work is a safe space, like when you start mixing your ass and your money together, but you can't dance or spin on a pole, I'm gonna need you to work on your shit. So, so I write a blog. I do a blog. I try to do it every 2 weeks. It's on my website, www.LoveliEsteem.com, LoveliEsteem.com. And I usually talk about mental health. I talk about how your mental health can affect not only your job, your career, if you're an entrepreneur. Sometimes I talk about how it affects us individually, because when we're talking about mental health, mental illnesses, when we're talking about life's daily challenges, we're all included in that, right? Because your mental health is how you handle things moving throughout troubles, trials, tribulations, successes, celebrations. But we also want to think about how all of these different things, how all of these different topics affect us, and it kind of does not, it takes away that work-life balance, especially when we're talking about infidelity in the workplace, because your coworkers get dragged into some shit that they do not want to be. They trying to figure out why people are slamming doors or why people are coming out of a closet half dressed. I mean, if you like the drama, cool for you, but I can promise you that I don't want to know what your coochie smell like because you done stunk up the supply room. So let's talk about the bullet points that I made in this blog, because I went off script and I had to get my shit back together. So infidelity is such a sensitive topic, and infidelity in the workplace it's one of those things where a lot of people don't even know how to handle the situation. You go to HR, what are they capable of? Do you become the person who tattles? Do you really want to become involved? Because what happens if they need to call you in to make sure that you can verify something? Are you even prepared for that? Do you make enough money? Is it above your pay grade to talk about the affair you know about? Most of us, yes. Okay. Most of us don't get paid enough to be a participant in somebody else's movie when they cheating on their spouse. We do not get paid enough money. So one of the things is the impact on the relationships that you have within your organization, right? So infidelity can cause a significant strain on the relationships, because if it's your manager or one of your coworkers, somebody that you may trust, somebody you looked up to, and then you find out that that shit is happening, you're like, so does your wife know? No. Does your husband know? No. Does your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your girlfriend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend know? Nobody knows? All right. I'm just here to know, but I'm not supposed to know. So it can put a strain on the relationships at your organization. It can cause distrust. It can cause hurt feelings, and a potential breakdown in communications. Because once you don't trust somebody and once you don't respect somebody at work, every time they talk to you, you trying to pick a fight, or you're trying to ignore them. You're trying to make sure that every time you talk to them, it is the last conversation for the day. Like, you try to put everything that you need to say to that person inside of a little box, and that's it. You're like, hey, listen, after we have this conversation, I'm gonna need you to not come back to my door for 72 to 48 business hours. Thank you so much. We'll talk later. The professional consequences, right? So engaging in infidelity in your workplace can cause serious professional consequences, because if you are a superior and you mess with somebody who is lower than you, that person has a lot of rights depending on where they work. Now, if you work in a place that has like an old boys club and they go and cover up for everybody, all the older people who are in there just, passing around, just they passing around. I was going to say passing around the pussy, but that's not. Anyway, we're going to beat that word out. Ooh, people are passing around BV, just people in there. I'm just saying, like, when I said I wanted to have a meeting, it wasn't for Glock 3000. I'm just so unprofessional. I'm talking about me, not them. The professional consequences, such as damaging your reputation, causing a toxic work environment, which is huge, because toxicity within a workplace, you almost can't recover from that, because it literally moves faster than the recovery if not addressed super early. And a lot of the times when people are having affairs at their job, it's not like they're out there telling you that it's happening. They got caught by one coworker who came to work and was like, yo, you seen such and such and such and such. They was at the sushi place in the corner all loved up. I thought they was married. Now you trying to figure out what happened. Now you looking at your coworkers all strange, trying to see if you can figure out what's happening. If you seen them look at each other kind of crazy, you giving them the wonky eye. It doesn't. It can also lead to you just not having a damn job. And I can promise you, there are very few times in my life that I have thought to myself, that nookie was so good that they could take my job from me. I don't need no money. All I need to do is lay up with that man. No. Not even my book boyfriends. And I'd be like, these scenes are good, but you better not fuck with my money. Okay, so we're back talking about workplace infidelity. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Again, I'm going to keep repeating it. None of your coworkers want to be a part of this story. Not the ones who really, the people who are getting paid less don't give a shit. Okay, and the people who are being paid more want to be able to make their money. They don't want to know about what you're doing. They don't want to participate in the circus that's about to happen, because you have created an environment that is literally, the foundation is on Jello. All right. And at some point, somebody's going to stick their foot through that shit and fall in and not be able to get out. And most of your coworkers, I'm going to say most, because some people love a little bit of a mess. They love watching you fall through the ground. Okay. That's what they do. So what are the ethical consequences of having an affair at your job or your workplace? It is essential for individuals to uphold ethical standards in the workplace and to consider the impact of their actions, not only on themselves, but also on their colleagues in the overall work environment. All of us, 95% of us, we do not get paid enough to deal with work infidelity. We do not get paid enough money to deal with a emotional affair at work. Okay. Because when they start breaking up, when they start tearing each other down, when they slamming doors and acting crazy, we're just irritated. Because, bitch, I did not come to work. I did not get up on the third day of my period to walk into this office and deal with you two because you can't be together, Romeo and Juliet. All right? We need you to go sit your asses down somewhere. Nobody got time for that shit. Seeking support. If infidelity is discovered or suspected in the workplace, like, who do you talk to about that, right? They always say, go to HR. And HR should be able to deal with that. What happens when you work for a company where HR don't give a shit? They're just like, yo, if they doing their job, I don't want to be a part of it. Or if HR is like, hey, I don't get paid enough for this shit either. This is above my pay grade too. Or sometimes where they don't endorse it, but they're like, as long as it's not affecting their jobs, they can do whatever they want to do. I didn't even know I could fuck on the clock, but creating a positive work culture. Employers who play a critical role in fostering a positive work culture that values integrity, respect, and open communication, which can help prevent infidelity and other harmful behaviors at work. I don't believe that you can prevent infidelity at work because people are people and we don't know what's going on with them at home. We don't know what kind of environment that they live in. We don't know what's happening with them mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. We don't know, right? We think we know our coworkers, but there can be times where your coworker don't tell you the shit that they're really going through. They just mask, because a lot of us do mask when we go to work because we're trying to keep our jobs. We code switch. And you know, the funny thing is that it used to be one of those topics where it was like the minorities or, you know, Black people, people of color, maybe immigrants, code switch. But the older I get, the more I realize that majority of the people code switch, because the way they talk to you at 5 o'clock and the way they talk to you at 5:01, two different things majority of the time, no matter who they are. Okay. I can promise you that Brad is not having conversations about, you know, corporate acquisitions at 5:01. All right. He's talking about smacking somebody's ass and the new puppy that he got. And you know, I think my bottom line with regards to the blog that I wrote really is just like, leave your coworkers out of it. All right. I mean, if you're going to have a work affair, if you could do that between the hours of 5:30 and 5:35, we don't want to know. We don't want to be a part. We would appreciate it if you didn't do it in the first place, because why am I sitting in a meeting listening to people tell other adults about how to have better behavior and how to keep your hands to yourself and not let other people touch your no-no parts? When I wasn't a part of this. I didn't address the people. For me, I feel like the organization needs to address the people who are fucking up. All right. It's so many broad statements that are made when you work in corporate America or when you work at an organization. These broad kind of strokes, ooh, no pun intended, that happen. And sex and work, it goes hand in hand, okay? There are people out here who are making good money to glock your 3,000, all right? But when we at work, I don't want to know about it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to be a part of your angst. I don't want to be a part of your falling in love. I don't want to be a part of your breakup, all right? Because it does nothing but tear the whole floor apart. It tears the departments apart. And you become the Real Housewife of Smut County. Like, they out here talking about who we talking about. That bitch is loose. Like, oh my God. I thought y'all went to lunch together. I'm not going to go to lunch with you if I think you did some shit. I don't want somebody to look at me and be like, oh, you hang out with them? You must be like them. I'm like birds of a feather. Bitch, I ain't been a chicken. I like chicken, but I don't want to be a chicken head. I didn't sign up for that. When I signed up for being an adult, chicken head wasn't a part of it. That was not a part of my contract. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Smart ass sarcastic? Yes. A hot mess? Yes. Chicken head? No. Didn't sign up for that one. I also can't give out the Glock 3000 unless I'm married to you because my God. So intimate. Look, Anyway. Work affairs they not only affect the people who are going through it, they affect coworkers, they affect the job, they affect the organization, they affect the environment. It affects your actions, play such a large part on how the rest of the organization sees itself and how it sees management and how it sees the structure and the strengths and weaknesses within an organization. I mean, all jokes aside, if you know somebody doing some shit and you participate in it, you should almost get the same discipline. Like all of y'all ass need to be on suspension. You can't come back to work for 3 to 4 business days. Like back in high school. All right. You throw a punch or you throw your ass, you got to stay home because ain't nobody got time for that. And no, you're not getting paid for it. No, you're not getting paid for it. Anyway. There are a lot of mental ramifications when it comes to affairs. And the biggest one for a bystander is the guilt that comes attached to it, but also the judgment that you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it because whether you like it or not, people are judging you. And whether you think that I see a lot of people, they really think that they be hiding it. I'm like, you can't hide when somebody gave you dick.